So after a long time, me not posting anything about that thing, for various reasons, mainly because I simply had no time. A lot of stuff happened. We changed the house, and with all the complications that comes with it, I just simply had no time. I did try. I did get a lot of content on the camera, what I was doing and how I was doing that. I tried my best, but I simply didn't have the time to edit it. So, and as you know, I'm not making any money on my channel because it's small, not many people watching this. So I'm not a YouTuber trying to make money on the channel. I'm genuinely trying to share my work, what I find it could be interesting for someone, or someone could learn something from it, or just have fun to watch it, just to share it with all these people, with you guys. So this is the reason I'm doing this video now, because I will not have another chance to do it, and I'll explain that in a minute. Sadly, at the end of this video, I'm gonna have to give you some bad news, unfortunately, but not my choice, nothing I can do about it. First, let me show you the progress. Hold on. So let's start from the front. As you can see, I have a bonnet on, I have the front grille bumper, grille I would say it's called, and the inner fenders, which I cut out obviously the inner bits to fit obviously the turret for them, the tower for the suspensions and all that stuff. It is obviously rolling on the front. It sits on its own weight. Not gonna leave the bonnet because I don't have the hinges. I actually don't have the hinges for this, so I don't know where they are. George didn't bring them to me, so I never had them. However, you can see the engine is inside, is actually solid mounted now with these motor plates or engine plates, how you want to call them. And yeah, it's sitting solid. There's two of them. There's one on the front that you just seen. There's one on the back here between the gearbox and the engine itself, but also because the plates, as you can see, they're thin. Even the front one, which is thicker, is still thin. The engine can actually move forth and back, and that's why we have these rods here. Okay, they actually move on the small rod joints, welded to the chassis, and the other mount is actually to the engine. Which actually, if you notice the engines, it uses the bolts or the mounts for the normal engine mounts. This prevents the engine from moving forth and back, which practically prevents the plates from flexing, and this way the engine is solid to the chassis proper. This is a very common procedure when you build high power vehicles and drag cars especially, so this is a very common thing to do. Now you can see there is a very nice, we got adapters for the water pipes in and out. I had to modify the plate. This is LSX engine. The plate is supposed to be for LSX, but didn't have a hole for this plug, so I had to draw it. Also, this head stick out the block about a millimeter and a half, so I had to mill down the plate. This is hence you see this line, because on the opposite side there's a bit of machining going on there. Apart that, everything fits fairly simple and easy. We have the alternator here, it's gonna go in that space there, and that's it. We have no power steering pump, that's gonna be electric. We have no water pump, that's gonna be electric. And on this side, there's gonna be 4-inch downpipe and the turbo here. But just bear in mind when I just said it's gonna be, because yeah, just remember that for a second. Let's move to the middle. Well, first of all, let's just appreciate how cool this thing looks like. I really like it, and I like the fact that the suspension mount, which is here, doesn't exceed the line of the bonnet, because that way the standard fenders can actually fit, because the goal of this car was to make it look pretty much original. You only have to unveil it, so you have to open the bonnet, you have to get close to it and look inside to see this is not just a normal chassis, just a normal car. Yes, it will look obviously lowered, etc, with the different wheels on the front, giant tires on the back, but that's all you see. It's just, you know, standard pickup, lowered with the bigger tires, and that's it. And then you have to actually go inside and see what's going on. I started to make a tunnel for the transmission because it turns out you have to do it a little bit, because I needed the transmission to sit in high, a bit more on the level, because obviously with the bigger tires, these are the huge tires, the axle sits quite high. So I don't want the prop shaft on the silly angle, especially when we put so much power through those universal joints on the front and the end. So the tunnel is a must. Well, that's okay. So let's move to the back. Okay, this is it. I don't know if you've seen it before or not on the previous videos. I can't even remember, so I'm just gonna show you. I started to do a quick drawing on the suspension, the geometry, and I was like, well, let's just do it on here. So I've drawn the plates. These are these that clamp the axle. There's two of them, and they clamp the axle, and they obviously mounts for the rod, for the arms, suspension arms, and also obviously they go for that reinforcement, that big heavy pipe that goes all the way down, and obviously reinforced in the middle, reinforced there as well. So pretty solid. Now turn the light off. This plate here, this one is actually this. On the drawing you don't see these reinforcements because they don't have to be, because again we transferred all of the geometry, all of these drawings to the computer to CAD, and then obviously laser cut the plates. So once we added on the computer, we added these mounts here, this to the chassis reinforcement. So very simple, very easy. Now I wanted to TIG weld this, but this is 8mm thick mild steel. My welder was just not up to the job, was barely touching this. There was no penetration, so I went for MIG welder because my MIG can melt this through, no problems. It's extremely strong, so I use MIG. But I think at the end it looks pretty good because it adds this bit of roughness, maybe. I don't know. It's a good. I like it. It's a good style with all the rest of the chassis, you know, the old school. I don't know. I kind of like it now. I was planning to do a TIG and I had to do it MIG, and now I've done it with a MIG. I'm happy with it for some reason. Now obviously we drew the holes in the chassis legs because to keep everything the same style. This, you know, well, remember you've done it on the front as a joke. There you go. And then obviously George asked me to carry that style through the whole rest of the chassis, so that's exactly what we did. And I actually did it also on the diff, on the back of the differential, on these reinforcement gussets. These are not just for reinforcement, but also a big part of these gussets and why they did this way is for aesthetics, because he wanted exactly this way, you know, so this is what I had to do. There's supposed to be another bar from here to there, because this is as a panel bar support on the chassis, which is supposed to be strong enough as it is because it's a very wide section. But you know, I like to make everything stronger than it needs to be, and there's supposed to be another bar from here to this. This is a thick pipe, which is part of the chassis cross member. So with that, this will make a triangle, so extremely strong, which I really like. There's another cross member here on the bottom. Radiator should supposed to go on the back here, and if you ask yourself why there's no cover, there's no pan on the diff, is because we removed that. We're supposed to make a heavy duty one with a fillet cap and all of that stuff. What else? Well, for now it's on the springs, left and right, both between the chassis and the axle, but eventually this is supposed to go on the airbags. So that's why this platform here is very simple, you see, because for the airbags you need quite a lot of space. So I kept it obviously there, plain, and then once we supposed to have the airbags, make a mount for them specifically. What else? Cross member there, you can see this one here. I'm supposed to drill the holes in that one as well, again same style. Under the chassis, it has been reinforced, all the chassis legs with these triangles, you can see. Cross members underneath as well, both up and down. And then there is a mount for the gearbox, which is not finished yet, but there is a place for it. And so the chassis now, I don't know if you remember, when you used to push on these, the whole chassis used to flex, the chassis legs on each of them. Now no matter which one you push, the chassis leg stays solid, it doesn't move at all nearly. However, there is a little bit of flex between, imagine this my fingers, the chassis legs, they do this a little, because obviously it's a small section, and with all of this torque, with the grips from these big tires, obviously there's a lot of torque transferred to the front of the car where the weight is, which is the engine and the transmission, and this, they may flex. So the idea was to join the cab to the chassis in a solid way instead of these small rods, which is a joke. Also on the front, these are the only foam mounts that are supposed to be, another one here, to attach the chassis to the, where to attach the cab to the chassis, but the cab is tin foil, there's nothing here. You can see this is the single skin, this is a small reinforcement, so obviously this is not strong enough. And we're supposed to build the roll cage, and the roll cage is supposed to be structural for the chassis as well, so we could join the front section of the chassis, which is already very, very stiff, to the rear section of the chassis, which is as stiff as it should be on the back. So if we build the mid section, then obviously we have the stiffness of the race chassis, and that was the plan. You can see obviously the axle has to be clean again, blah blah, finish it off, and then we still need the mounts here for the shock absorbers. Everything is kind of planned already, and I think this is it. This is obviously, with the previous stuff that I filmed, there was a lot of fabrication, and I tried to show you how it's done, why I've designed such a geometry, because you see with this, all of these holes there, and this, and on the chassis, these are all at different positions for the arms. Also the arms itself, they can just by twisting them, you know, you can make them shorter or longer and all the stuff to correct their geometry exactly as you want it. And this is completely full drag racing setup on the suspension on the back. And if you play with it, you can amplify the anti-squad or remove the anti-squad. You can basically try to lift the front of the car in full acceleration, or trying to make it be more steady but then lose a little bit of a grip. You can play with, but there is a big potential here to play with the suspension and give it more traction, less traction, and a lot of different effects. I haven't just done it because I liked it. I've done it because this way, because we really wanted to achieve some good stuff out of it. What else? I think this is it. We had the plan for the bed on the back. That's supposed to be looking standard outside, but inside the deck will be much higher. And there's supposed to be a whiskey barrel, a genuine Californian whiskey barrel from that, like the real one. I think Josh contacted a company in California, where the car comes from. They hear his story, what we're doing, and they were more than happy to supply us an old wooden whiskey barrel that actually probably smells whiskey as well still. And we're supposed to hide all the electrics on the air pump and the compressor for the air rider and all of that stuff. Possibly maybe fuel cells and some of the stuff, I don't know, just trying to hide everything. The radiator on the back, obviously, because we don't have much space on the front, plus I wanted to keep the front clear, just the intercooler, giant intercooler, and the cooling system on the back, which plenty of space unused. So everything was kind of designed roughly. We had an idea how to finish it off. Now, in meantime, everything arrived. So starting from, obviously we have to build exhaust manifolds for the giant turbo, very good performance ones, and we had all these elbows, which these were all hand polished, each one of them hand polished. I don't know if you can see it, maybe the light is wrong. There you go, they're all polished. Loads of them, yeah, for the two exhaust manifolds, because again it's a V8. Then, and I'm gonna show you where all the stuff is there, along with his Bentley engine. And Well, let me put the camera here, it's easier. I'm always running with it. So all the stuff arrived. We have the ECU, we have the screen for the ECU, Haltech, we have the prefabricated engine loom, we have all the sensors, we have the injectors. We don't have the coils, but that takes nothing to arrive because they're in UK. All the stuff arrived from America. We got the alternator, we got the starter motor, we got the bolts for everything, we got adapters for the water hoses, fuel pressure regulator. We have pretty much 90% to get the car finished. And this is the bad news. Unfortunately, the client pulled the plug. So I'm not gonna go into detail why, if it's lack of money or anything else. It's not my business to know. I don't want to know. I'm very used to not seeing my projects, my builds being finished, because usually I build turbo system for customer, or along with the turbo system, the rest of the system, exhaust or engine mounts or something like this, I'd actually be 80 or 90% sometimes even part of the build, being from my fabrication, but then it goes to someone else to get the engine loom done, or the ECU connected and figure out everything, or something else done, and then for mapping, and then they go racing, and I don't see them again. And this is why on so many builds you don't see my stuff being finished and tested, because it's not my stuff. My stuff, like my van for example, which is there, is running for over 3 years now, beautiful. You can see lots of videos. There's an MR2 with a 1.9 conversion, which we've done just as a joke, and turns out to be a great setup. Again, it's running, no problems. I don't use it because I don't have a use for it, but soon I will. It's finished. But customer stuff, not really. It's very rare that I actually see it in action. Apart from obviously back in the day when I used to sponsor the drivers over the Europe, then obviously yes, because that was a part of the sponsorship deal, that obviously they sent me all the media and all the stuff, because it was advertising for my company, for my turbo systems and fabrication, all the stuff. But since that, I dropped that sponsorship. I don't sponsor anymore anyone, because I just wanted to be more quiet, work on my own, peace. I don't see that again. This one was different. This supposed to be started and finished by myself, apart mapping. But even that, we take the car to get mapped, we get the car to get tested at Santa Pod, and then we deliver it to the client, to the customer. So it was everything in my own hands. And I'm a little bit gutted that this is not going to happen, because I put a lot of heart into this. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely yes. It was something special, because he let me go wild. He let me just do whatever I was thinking it is good to do it. It's not just technical build. In my eyes, it's a little bit of artistic as well. If you haven't seen the previous videos, have a look, so you understand why I'm saying this. And I kind of get attached to this project, but there's nothing I can do. And at the end of the day, you could say it's just a job. So this is it. This is the bad news. Unfortunately, because it's the same client, the corner line is not going to go forward. And the engine we have here from the Bentley, and all the turbo system I've built, and the engine mounts, and then everything I've done to it. Because we modified the plenums, we built the crazy exhaust manifolds, which is all there in the middle of this mess. The boost pipes, the special turbos, the giant intercooler, the filters, the induction kit, the waste gauge, the plenum modified, the throttle body being modified, and all of that stuff. And trying to make a rear-wheel drive by locking the differential mechanism on the gearbox and all of that. And unfortunately, I'm not saying everything goes to waste, because I don't know what's going to happen to this stuff. But again, it's all being taken away for one reason or another. So yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for that, but not completely, because I always see both sides of the coin, and this is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that I was tied to this job. I did not have much time for myself, for my stuff, and finally I got this time to finish my Sylvia, which has been years now. Well, no, I did finish it pretty much all of it. Only needs a few days work to get everything done and be ready to race or use it. I actually go on the road because actually, funny enough, this is a road car. It's road legal. It's not a road car, it's a race car, but it's road legal. And I will have a time to finish it. I will have a time to put that swap kit MR2 with the 1.9 Di engine and the 1.8 20 valve Audi engine, 1.8 20 valve turbo Audi engine. That swap kit into production, because I have developed everything. I have everything, and then I find myself, out of my ambition, is like, yeah, you develop everything, but I don't really have a time to put everything in production. So I was offering just the engine mounts. Did I offer the engine mounts? Well, no, because this last month or two I was so busy. Everything is sitting down there, and I got everything. I didn't even put one single advert that I have this stuff for sale. So there you go. This is gonna cure everything. Plus, I kind of started mildly racing again, or preparing myself to race again. So on the bike, on the motorcycles, I love this rally stuff, and I discovered a new passion for me. Well, it's not a new passion because I used to race motorcycles and all that stuff, but this is completely new for me, and yeah, I like it. So I will have a time for that. I will have a time for myself. I can go back to the gym again, because again, I look like a kid. I weigh probably 20 kilograms, which is not good, and especially if I want to go to race in the rallies, then you know, I need to be fit, and I'm not. So finally I can use the bag, I can use the skipping rope, and I have a friend of mine, which I'm not gonna go back to boxing because the gym is closed, and but there's another guy, a friend of mine, or the guy I know, teaches MMA, so I can go back training. That's great training, and you know, it's gonna be a better lifestyle, I guess. I'm gonna be happier. Again, I'm gutted I lost these two customers. Well, it is these two projects with one customer, but this is life, and it is what it is. So I'm gonna be concentrating on less stuff, but properly. So I guess because Steve is, well, he is going flat out with his NX5, and not much to be done, and then electrics, and then I get started. His Corolla is, I guess, nearly there. Sorry, it's gonna take long. It's not gonna take long for him to get it finished on the road. That's gonna get me motivated to actually sell the 1.9 setup, because this thing here has got a 1.9 TDI with 240 brakes. I don't know if you've seen the videos. If you haven't, have a look. I have a bigger injector, so I want to put the bigger injectors on it, and then we're gonna maximize the turbo at about 300 to 330 brakes. We'll see how it goes. We're gonna time it again. The engine is fresh. It's been built with the con rods, with all the bearings is nicely built, modified pistons and everything to be safe at that kind of power. And then I'm gonna sell it, the whole setup, not the car. I love the car. I'm not gonna sell it because it's very good. There's no rust. It's great. I've set the chassis the way I like it for the road use. It's quick, so I'm not gonna sell that, but I'm gonna sell the whole complete conversion, everything. And then during the winter, I'm gonna find myself some time and fit this bad boy there, which again, my kit allows you or me to put both of the engines, 1.9 and the 1.8 petrol, and I want that in because that one we can push it to any power we want. Because I think the limit of these engines, again I'm talking extreme, is over 12 or over 1300 brakes. Now the car weighs nothing, it's very light, so I'm gonna be happy with 600-700 brakes, maybe 800, I don't know. Maybe we can get to 1-to-1 power to weight ratio, we'll see. we're definitely gonna have fun with that. So I would rather concentrate on that stuff and you know, and nothing else. So I hope this explains a lot. I'm sure you're not gonna see any more videos about that. I'm sure you're not gonna see any more videos about the crazy van build. But this is how it goes sometimes. And just like that, she's gone. There you go. Oh well, I could say that I don't care, but that would be a lie. It's a sad day, but this is life. So no, she got some bits to collect. This is the Bentley exhaust manifolds, intercooler pipes, etc, etc. But at least we had time to finish the mighty Silvia, Mad Max spec Silvia. Empty ramp, so we can put it on that, probably. Oh yeah, the strap on the roof I used to hang the cab. Oh well, now I'm gonna take some time to build my bike, get her ready for the rallies, get the proper tires, put some mousses on, finish this NAFTA navigation. Got the new road book, the electric, the rear one. This is, well, this is very amateur one. Not even amateur one, but dangerous, because you actually have to remove your hands from the handbar and manually scroll the road book, which is quite dangerous. The electric one has a switch here, which this is gonna have to be moved, and switch here, so you can do it on the fly. Well, I don't even know why I'm showing this. Maybe because I'm sad and I have to compensate. I got no idea. But nah, I just try not to think about it. Just, you know, get on. Again, I'm quite used to it, because most of my projects and turbo system you do for the cars, I don't really see those cars being finished and how they run and how they go. So I'm used to it. Oh well. That's the beauty there.